I'm excited to have with me Dr. Lois Nahirney. She is the CEO and President of dnaPower Inc. and she's here today to talk about her role and how it all began. Welcome, Lois.
Oh, thanks so much, Christine. I'm so pleased to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, so tell us your story, like how did it all begin for you?
Yeah, well, this getting into lifestyle genetics is a complete change for me. So I had done my business degrees and I was a corporate executive working in industrial sectors and was very busy flying around the world, mother of identical twins, which got me interested in genetics as well. And I started to get sick in my 40s and I was getting really tired and I was starting to have troubles breathing and I was getting anemic and something was just really wrong. And so when I started to lose my breath and not be able to breathe properly, I said, okay, something's not good here. So I started going to specialists. I went to respirologists, I went to asthma specialists, I went to oncologists and gynecologists. I went to all kinds trying to figure out what was wrong, and nobody had any answers. And I was just getting worse and worse, and it kind of culminated with me going to the doctor saying, I just don't know what to do. I'm really struggling. And they took my iron. I had none in my body. I was admitted straight to hospital and was given blood transfusions and admitted for 2 days with my husband on the road and my kids at home with a babysitter. And it was just like something, as we've got to find a solution somewhere. So I happened to be going to this event for my grandmother's birthday, and I had my cousin, who's a Canadian bodybuilding champion, say, there's this super cool new thing where you can now test your DNA to learn more about diet and fitness and other things. And wouldn't that be great for you to learn more about your twins? And so I said, sure, let's do it. So I ended up doing it, getting my results back and discovering I have unexpectedly genetic weaknesses related to vitamin Bs. Wow. And so my body I wasn't taking vitamins at the time, and I just didn't have enough nutrients in my body. And so I thought, well, that's interesting. I started taking vitamin Bs, and within 2 weeks, all of my symptoms went away. So I had spent 4 years being sick, and it turns out the thing my body really, really needs is just regular vitamin B because it doesn't produce it and metabolize it and use it as naturally as it could. So it was like I could not believe I'd been able to solve my health problems so easily. In addition, I learned things like I've got some lactose variations in my genetics, and so I said, okay, I'll reduce my dairy, and the 10 pounds I'd been gaining every year over that time just kind of fell off. And so I went, wow, if it's this easy, how can I bring this to other people? And so I ended up acquiring the company, and I've been helping people live healthier lives ever since.
Wow, and this was like in 2015?
Yes, so I've been doing this for 5 years now.
Yeah, so it's a new way of looking after your health, like leading a healthier lifestyle.
Absolutely. I mean, what's really cool is if you think about what information do you have about your body and your health from a scientific perspective to help guide your decisions? I mean, usually it's just, how is our family? Maybe if you don't feel well, you'll get some blood work done, but there's not much information. Now what you can do is it's so simple, a simple cheek swab, and we can give you the genetics related to your day-to-day health. We can learn about diet, things like, should you be on a carb, fat, protein mix? What's right for you? If you think of how many fad diets there are out there, and it only works for some people, there's no one size fits all. It all depends on your genetics. And so what this does now, it gives you the opportunity to see what is your unique genetics, Christine. What do you need to be doing in order to stay your healthiest self? And where are the areas that you want to keep doing what you're doing, and where might there be some pitfalls? And so we call it like our blueprint. So it is our blueprint. And if you can know where your blueprint or roadmap is going and where it's got some weak spots, you just work around it. And if you can work around it, you're going to be healthier.
And you just have to take it one time.
Just one time.
And when you think about it, it's like the onus is on us for our health, right?
Yeah.
And if we don't know, we can't improve. Like, it's just that DNA, I never thought of, as that blueprint, as you said. And like how like, do you have like DNA diet, DNA fitness? Like,
Yeah, so what we do is we look at, first of all, the foundation that impacts our health the most is our diet. And so DNA diet is kind of our starting point. But we also do fitness. We do a number of health factors, things that are really important that you will have heard about in health, like detoxification, inflammation, hormones, and methylation. So we look at some underlying processes in your body, and because if those are weak, those may need some support to be healthy. And then we also look at some factors related to the brain.
wow.
So what we're trying to do is we don't look at, there's some wonderful fun testing out there like 23andMe and Ancestry, where you can look at your ancestry and find about some rare diseases. But what matters is how you live your life on a daily basis. So we're trying to give you the lifestyle genetics that impact your day-to-day decisions.
And so, like, exactly how does that work? So you take the swab, and then you fill it out, and then they come back in 2 weeks. Like, does it take that?
It takes about 2 to 4 weeks. So we have an outstanding top Canadian genetic lab, and so it's as simple as a cheek swab on the inside of your cheek. We fill out the information. It all goes only by numbers, so nobody can track it back to you. The only time it gets relinked into who you are and the numbers, the barcodes associated with your genetics are when you get your report. And so you get this amazing information. We test over 70 areas and over 200 genes. And so you're learning all kinds of things about your body. And we give you an action plan on what specifically are the 5 to 10 most important things for you to focus on your lifetime to stay healthy.
Yeah, you said 200 genes. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try it. And so what other benefits as well? Like inflammation, you mentioned.
Yeah, well, the thing that is really important for people to know is that your genetics is your blueprint, and it doesn't change over your lifetime. That's why we only test once. But your blueprint and your genetics are influenced by your lifestyle. It's called epigenetics. And so how you live your life affects how you trigger your genes. And it's kind of like on-off switches, up-down slider switches. And what you want to be doing is always triggering for health. And so when you're looking at different factors that can influence your DNA, it is things like diet, exercise, vitamins, sleep and stress, and the toxins in your environment. And so if you've got different excesses or issues, then it can lead to a problem. And so most of us get sick because of toxicity, something too much wrong stuff in our body, or deficiency, not enough of what we need. And so what we're going to do is try and give you a bit of a roadmap of where you are more likely to have issues, because where your genetics are weak is where you're more likely to have your challenges show up over time. That's why it's different for all of us. Even if you had kind of living with someone, you can show up sick differently because it depends on your genetics. So, I mean, that's the great thing, is that you can get this roadmap, and the benefit then is you know where to focus. So we've got lots of examples of people. So our clients tend to be people who are super keen about their health, kind of biohackers and really want to be proactive. But for most of us, we have not been trained to be super proactive about our health. We're trained that when we get sick, we go to the doctor. And then we try to get assessed, we might get a prescription. But our whole goal is preventative health. And what DNA is personalized health. And so we're trying to create this map of health for one, just for you, by giving you your genetics so that you can see what you need to be focused on. And that's what just makes this so exciting.
It is indeed exciting. And like, how does it make you feel that you are improving people's quality of life?
Well, oh my gosh, I love what I do so much. I really know we're changing lives every single day. The number of people where we'll say, this is, who've been struggling with weight for 10, 20, 30 years, and we go, oh, well, actually, this is your problem, saturated fats and some vitamins, or here is your issue. You've got some detoxification issues. We'll work with some people who have had cancer, and we can see that they have very poor detoxification. There's foods, there's exercise, there's so much you can do to support that. And instead of having to do everything right, we help you target on, here are the few levers you can work with that will have the biggest impact. But I mean, I love it. We'll have, we'll work with women who are trying to get pregnant and are struggling with that, and how can we improve their health in order to be able to conceive. And so we'll work with both of the partners. Again, people who are struggling with weight and how do they get rid of that. We have people with hormone issues, which affects both of those. We work with lots of professional athletes who are trying to really get the maximum benefit. You have to be right to the edge in terms of how you can manage your body. And so this guides them in terms of how do you manage that. Yeah.
Like be a better runner.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's how do you really find that little extra edge that makes such a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you think stops people from not wanting to do it, or they do it but they don't go through it? It's like, it's not that difficult, right? It's like the onus is on us.
Yes. I think the biggest thing is most people don't know about it. And the fact that it's actually that simple to do, and it's just a few $100s. I would say we also aren't used to paying for healthcare in Canada. In the US, our clients, no problem. They understand the value of the healthcare. Here in Canada, we have to make that investment. And so we believe in invest in your health. There's nothing more you can invest in.
Yes.
And as a corporate executive, we spend our health getting our wealth, and then we spend our wealth gaining back our health. And so, the whole thing is anybody can, I think, make that investment right now. It's a few $100s to be able to find out more. So that is the first thing. We aren't used to thinking about how do I get super proactive. Most people don't know that you can learn your roadmap for your, your genetic roadmap for your body. That holds them back. And people also do have concerns about privacy and data. And so the thing I'd like to reassure you and others about is we don't sell the data. It's private to you. We're just trying to put this information in your hands that really lived in science labs and universities. And so we're taking that and have spent years doing that to create the best curated sets of information that can help you with your day-to-day decisions. And so in terms of privacy, everything is really well protected. I'd also reassure people that people can't do much with the information. We can't clone you, we can't do anything. We're only capturing a few hundred genes, and you have 3 billion.
3 billion.
And so, 3 billion single nucleotide polymorphisms, you've got about 20 to 25,000 genes. But anyway, we're only capturing a few of these points where you have variations in your genes. And that's what we focus on, just to help you be your healthiest. So those are the things we usually hear about. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you find out you've got a weak carbohydrate gene, you're not going to be devastated. And the only other area we test that's interesting, because so many people asked for it, was Alzheimer's, because it's so linked to diet. It is. There's a set of genes called APOE that are highly linked to whether your arteries plaque, and it leads to either cardiovascular disease, or it can lead to slow dementia over time. So what we're trying to do is, if you know that and you shift up your diet, you can live and never have a problem.
Wow. Well, Lois, how do we get started?
Right. Well, super simple. And, I'd encourage people, if they're interested, they can go on to, I assume where this is posted, there'll be some information. You can go onto our website, dnaPower.com. We're always happy to help with information. And, we're really excited to support people.
Yes.
Now, we're also going to do your genetics, Christine.
Yes.
So you volunteered to test it out.
Yes.
And so we're really excited to help you get your results. So are you okay if we test it right now?
Eat for your DNA.
Yes. So we're going to help you, Christine, learn how do you eat for your DNA? How do you take power over your health?
Yes.
So it's as simple as, you get your little kit in the mail. This is all done at home. I'm going to show you how you do it here. You get your little swab. It's as easy as that. It's got its barcodes on it.
Thank you. This is great that you're right here to show me how to do it.
And it's as simple as all you do is rub the inside of both cheeks 10 times.
Right, in
That's
here.
It.
Okay.
Inside, yeah.
Inside 10 times.
10
You have to
times,
count.
both sides. Yeah, just rub. We're just trying to get a few cheek cells on there.
That's 10.
Sure. And then the other side. Great.
Boy, that was
and
easy.
Then, I know, super easy.
Thank you.
Twist off the top, goes into the solution.
And I
and it's done. That's
2
the
weeks, I'll know the
stabilizer.
results.
2 to 4 weeks. It just happens. Our lab run starts this week, and you've hit it exactly on. So 2 to 4 weeks, and you and I will just fill out the information here. We give a little barcode on it. We just need sort of basic information so that we can get this to you. To be honest, we don't even care what name you give us. All we want you to do is to be able to send you this information. You'll receive it via PDF, so you'll get your reports through your email. And then for those who buy our full package, we include a complimentary consult with a nutritionist. And so, the reports are super easy to read. It's red is poor and green is good. So where it's red is the parts you read. It's that simple. But it's still, because we're not used to thinking about how do we make those changes in our lifestyle, we will have you pair up with a nutritionist.
That's wonderful.
And you'll make sure that you've got your action plan.
Oh, thank you so much. And
we also love working with partners. So we work a lot with nutritionists, fitness trainers, naturopaths, so that this can be information that helps them guide their clients more directly and more specifically according to their unique bodies as they build workout plans or put a diet together for them or help them as they're trying to deal with anything that they might be dealing with. Right now, chronic disease is just epidemic in our society, and it is because of this toxicity and deficiency we talked about. We're getting too much of some stuff that's not right for us and not enough of other things that we need. And so if you can learn some of that roadmap for yourself, now you can help put yourself on a path to avoid the chronic disease, which tends to be very systemic and is difficult to diagnose. It sometimes maybe appears as gut issues or diabetes or other, but it all comes back to, are you keeping your body working well? Are you keeping it healthy? Are you keeping it strong? And so that's where we're trying to give you the clues to help you live your best life, live your healthiest life, and to really take power over your health.
Lois, thank you so much. And it's like, this is the secret ingredient.
This is your foundational information for you to live a healthy life.
Thank you. Thanks. We'll be right back after this break, and stay tuned for part 2. We'll know my results.